Yes,
A bit.
okay, you're interested in science. That's good. Okay, I think that's most important. First thing is you must have interest in science. Okay, before you even because science is a subject whereby if you don't have interest and you still have to remember things, I think it might not be so easy for you. But if you have interest at first, I think that is already a good start. Okay. So I would say that P3 science generally are quite are simpler definitely. Okay, we cover mostly on living, non-living things, animals, plants, life cycles, and some schools they will do magnets in P3, but I think now magnet is a P4 topic. So they will also cover digestive system. Okay, so these are the main topics that will be covered in primary 3, right? So for a head start, I think we are going to start with animals and plants. But before that, let me just show you a video because I know that you have not learned. You have not learned the topic yet, right?
No.
Correct. So we will be
I learned it on watching other videos like Mr. Ali.
Oh, okay. You watch Mr. Ali's videos. I see. Okay. Mr. Ali's videos. Well, okay. I think those are basically what the topic is gonna cover, but it might not be that extensive lah, because that's the reason why we have tutorial, because tutorial we cover questions, right? But I think that's quite useful. Mr. Ali's ones. Well, maybe I'll just show you something else, okay? Because I think some other videos might be useful as well. Okay, let me just open it up. Okay, so things like that which actually supplement what Mr. Ali is teaching. Usually Mr. Ali's one is more lecture style. Okay, things like these videos are just like additional resources. And then usually in between, at the middle of the lesson, right, we will have a game. But usually it's played between amongst all the students. So it's just you today, but we can still play the game, okay? But it's just you against yourself, lah. Okay? But I think it's just for the fun of it. Doesn't matter who wins or lose, right? Usually, I don't really encourage the competitiveness amongst the students. It's mostly through game. I think through game is more fun. You will be able to do some questions with regards to the topic. Okay. So just now was living and non-living things, but then again, right, there is more to that. Actually, there is another part on animals, which you will need to learn. But what I'll do is I will show you some notes first because I feel like we are going into the questions with you not knowing a lot of things on these. Okay, some questions might seem simple to you, lah, I'm sure, because you probably have read it somewhere before, maybe in storybooks or something, or science books. Okay, but I still think it's necessary to go through all that you need to know. Okay, so let me just quickly open up some of my notes which I can share. Um, hold on a second, huh? We have, where is it? Hmm. No, wait, sorry, not this one. Not this one. Yeah. Okay. I'm just quickly going to give you a heads up because I've prepared some of the notes for next year if you were to join us. Okay, but I'm just going to show you in advance some of these first. Okay, this one is about fungi. I think this one might not be the best. We don't come to fungi first. We'll touch on animals first. How about that? Yeah, let's touch on animals first, huh? Okay. So things like, for example, right? How are animals classified? Why are animals important? You see, what are the different kinds of animals? These are things that we should think about. Okay, I'm gonna go through a little bit quicker. Okay, because this one is quite self-explanatory, right? They come in different shapes, sizes, and colors. Okay. This is important. Okay, you do need to know the different groups of animals. So under the animal kingdom, there are different groups. Okay, like for example, your amphibians, birds, fish, insects, mammals, and reptiles. Okay, so let's talk about amphibians first, okay? So amphibians are things like, for example, your salamander. Salamander is actually this thing here, okay, which looks like a lizard, but please do not mix them up with lizard, okay? Because salamander is an amphibian, but lizard is a reptile. Okay, lizard is a reptile. Salamander is an amphibian. Okay, so you have a frog here. So frogs and salamanders are what we call amphibians. And amphibians actually live on land and in water, right? They breathe through their moist skin. Okay, when they are underwater, they breathe through moist skin. They are so versatile, you know, they can live on both land and in water. And then when they breathe, they also breathe using different methods when they are in water and on land. So on land, they actually breathe through their lungs. Okay, so that's the special thing about amphibians here. Yeah. And then when we talk about birds, what's so special about birds? Bird is the only group of animals that have feathers. Okay, so they have feathers and they have beak, they have wings, they have a pair of legs, but of course, uh not all groups of animals have wings, but there are some that have wings, like for example, insects, right? Some insects have wings. Okay, but what's so special about bird is that they have feathers. Okay, so then we talk about fish now. Fish is special because it's covered with scales, it has gills, it breathes through gills, it has fins. Okay, but reptiles also have scale, like snakes and crocodile, they also have scales. Okay, so this is fish. Okay, notice I'm actually going through very quickly. This one is just for extra, and these are the questions. Okay, so I'm just going through very quickly now. Because we actually have things to cover today. It's just that I thought I want to give you a head start. So just now we talk about amphibians, we talk about fish, we talk about birds. So now we are going to talk about the other three groups. Remember, amphibians, birds, and fish we've covered. So now we are going to cover the other three groups, which are your insects. Okay, insects, what's so special about insects? Insects have 3 pairs of legs. They have a pair of feelers. Their bodies are divided into 3 parts. And they have a hard outer covering that protects their bodies and gives it shape. Okay, they reproduce by laying eggs. That's that, yeah? So that's insect.
Literally,
Yes.
what's a feeler?
The feeler is the thing on top of the head. That's the feeler for insects. Okay, and then they have 3 body parts, they have 3 pairs of legs. So that's the special feature of special characteristic of insects, which makes them different from other groups of animals. Okay, then we have mammals, which is actually us. Okay, what's so special about mammals? Mammals have hair, right? They give birth to their young, they produce milk to feed their young, which is something that other groups do not do. Okay, only mammals, they have hair and they give birth to young. Of course, there are some exceptions. Like for example, the guppy. The guppy is a fish, but the guppy actually give birth. Some sharks actually give birth as well. Okay, and shark is a fish, right? So not all, I would say there are some exceptions. And also, not all mammals give birth. There are some special mammals that lay eggs, like for example, your platypus and your spiny anteater. Okay, so these two are the ones, although mammals, yes, but they don't give birth, they actually lay eggs. Okay, so this is mammals. And lastly, reptiles. Reptiles, some students get mixed up with amphibians. They're actually quite different. Amphibians' outer covering is actually moist skin, but reptiles' outer covering is scales. Okay, so you need to be able to differentiate that. Yeah, okay. So why are animals important? I think this one we'll cover some other time. We'll come to this next year. If you were to join us, right? This is actually in worksheet 5. So we do one worksheet per week. So currently you are doing like a Head Start program for P3 next year. Okay, so we are just covering like touch and go kind of thing. But next year we'll go through in detail the topics. Okay, so like I said, we do have things that we have to cover. So let us do, okay, how many questions are there today? I think there are about 10 questions around there. We'll do 5. We'll take a short break and then we'll play a game. Then we come back to do the remaining. Okay? Can? Okay, so let's try this question first. Which of the following statements about the animals are correct? So we want to find, Okay, we want to find correct statement. Let's put a tick first. Okay, correct. Both breathe through gills in water. Just now we touched on frog, right? Frog is an amphibian. Does amphibian breathe through gills in water? No,
No.
right? The amphibian breathes through lungs in water and moist skin. No, sorry. It breathes through moist skin in water and it breathes through lungs when it's on land. So this is already wrong. But the fish, yes, the fish does breathe through gills in water. Okay? So this statement is wrong. Okay? So the whatever that has A is wrong already. Okay? Both reproduce by laying eggs. Does the frog and the fish reproduce by laying eggs? Both of them?
I think so.
Yes, great. Okay, so fish usually lay eggs unless the special ones, like I said just now, guppy, the mollyfish, the swordtail fish, and the shark. Some sharks actually give birth, they do not lay eggs, okay? But a tilapia definitely lays eggs. The frogs also lay eggs, so this is correct. Okay, so B is correct. Now let's see statement C. Both are covered in scales.
No.
Why not?
Because the frog is covered with moist skin.
Very good. Well done. Yeah, the frog's outer covering is moist skin, but of course the fish is scaled. So this is wrong. Okay, whatever that has C is wrong. So I suppose D is correct. Both animals are cold-blooded. Okay, so the answer is C. Okay? Okay? Yeah, so a lot of this, when it comes to primary 3 science, I think a lot of it is still memorizing the concept. Okay, or when we come to open-ended question, that's when you need to be able to answer, have certain answering technique. But that one will come to that later. For now, it's just the introduction of the topics. Okay. Okay, now here we are. We have a tortoise and a snail. Okay, so which group of animals do they belong to?
I'm not that sure.
Okay, have you been to I think at the zoo, right? The Singapore Zoo, there's this place called like the Reptopia or something like that.
I think I did not been there before. Maybe I forgot.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay. It's actually a place in the center of the Singapore Zoo. They call it Reptopia. Reptopia means it's like a, like Zootopia kind of thing, right? So Reptopia means a place whereby there are all the reptiles. So if you've been there, you realize that, oh, there actually are tortoises there. There are also many different types of snakes there. So actually tortoise and snakes, they both belong to the group of reptiles. Okay, so both the tortoise and the snake are reptiles. So actually statement A is correct because statement A says both belong to a group of animals called reptiles, right? Do they give birth to young?
I think no. No.
No, right? So how does the tortoise and the snake reproduce?
By eggs.
Yes. Okay, the tortoise and the snake lay eggs, so this is wrong. Yeah. Okay, so with whatever that has B is out, A is correct. Okay, let's look at C. Both are covered in dry skin and scales. What's the outer covering for reptiles?
Moist skin.
Okay, what do you think about the snake and tortoise? Do you think their skin is moist?
I think is mm, rough skin. I don't know.
Yeah, rough or dry. Okay, usually they are not moist. The amphibians are moist, but the reptiles are dry skin, and most of them have scales. Yes, although some snakes can swim in water. Okay, there are some water snakes, but most snakes and most reptiles, they are covered in dry skin and their outer covering is scale, just like fish. But fish is, of course, wet lah, because fish is in water, right? So this one is correct. Answer is B. Now, D is wrong because both animals are cold-blooded. They are not warm-blooded. Okay, reptiles are cold-blooded. Right?